everybody. Okay, here's what's up. I just dropped a new thing today out of what we're calling the Coach Jennie Vault. So let me properly introduce myself because I'm acting like you know me, and some of you are like, who the hell is this chick? So my name is Jennie Mustafa Julak. I'm one half of Jennie and Meredith, my beautiful, amazing and business partner who is not here right now. And together we help people who have impatient ambition. Anybody here has impatient ambition? You've done some cool things. You'd like to do way more yesterday, if not quicker. Yes, anybody? Okay. We help people like that do more of what matters to them and get further faster. That's what we're all about. And so we have a couple of ways that we do that. One of those is teaching you techniques of how you can make more things happen and follow through and all of those lovely things, which is what I typically talk about here. But the other side, which is what we're talking about today, is we just really believe that, like, if we took the stairs, can we send the elevator back down, right? Like, can we shorten your learning curve and make your life a little bit easier? And so we just dropped a new program called Ask for Referrals. Spoiler alert, it's $10. Okay, so everybody's like, oh, I can actually listen to you now. It's $10. So I'm going to be telling you all about this today. But more specifically, what I want to do is talk about the fact that referral marketing is done very, very poorly by most entrepreneurs. In fact, by most single solopreneurs. Do you guys agree with that? Yeah. Let's do a test, shall we? Who here has networked in the last month? Show of hands. Who's been doing some networking? Yes? Yeah. Who here has had some coffee chats, talked to some amazing people, taken loads of notes in your pretty little notebook? Yes? Who here has emailed those people that you've met and asked them and made it easy for them to send you a referral? JC. Okay, Dawn, she's in my world. She's like, I have, damn it. Let me own my credit. Okay. The thing is, most of us don't do that. Most of us go and network our little asses off, right? And we meet all these amazing people. And then we expect that these amazing people just fell in love with us because obviously they did. And then they're just going to be walking through life, remembering exactly what we do for a living. Right, Allison? She's like, of course, hello. And they're going to just be like, oh, you know what I need to do today? I need to get Allison more business. I need to make sure Kate has more people. I was thinking about my to-do list today and I was worried about where will JC get her next client? No. I mean, because all of you are walking around going, I want to make sure Jennie and Meredith have lots of money to go to Disneyland, right? Nobody is thinking that way. Karen's like, I'm that memorable, baby. But like, okay. I'm being facetious, but the truth is a lot of us do that. How many people have you met this year? I mean, it's Valentine's Day, so we're like, what, 6-7 weeks in. How many people have you met this year that you haven't necessarily followed up with? A lot. Okay, you guys can come off mute and talk to me. Here's my other question. Who here would like more referrals? Why? I would love to hear why. Kate, you were very, very boisterous with that. Why would you like more clients? Very specifically. I mean, more referrals, not clients. I'm sorry, referrals.
I like more referrals because I find that the people. Whoa, I heard a weird noise.
Sorry, that was my computer.
Oh, I was like, wow. Kate brings the magic. Okay, go ahead, Kate. You were saying. Okay.
Because I find that when I have a referral, it's a better quality match for what I do than when I'm just trying to like go out and find people. So I find referrals we're like a match made in heaven when it's referred.
Yes. Sam is saying there are free marketing leads that are already warm. Yeah. Match made in heaven. Who else? JC, you wanted to share. Why do you want referrals?
Yeah, we were like, ding, when Kate said that. My text messages are attached to my computer. Sorry. So because not only are they a great match, but they already probably trust you because Joe Blow or Joetta has suggested you. So there's a trust factor all daggone it. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Already they want your attention.
It's a cute boy texting me. It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day. If a cute boy texts me, I'm in trouble. But go on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yes. But no, I think that's the big thing, though, is there's already the trust factor there.
Totally. There's already the trust factor there. Anybody else want to chime in? Like, why are referrals so valuable to your business?
Why are they valuable? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, why are they so valuable
Yeah,
to
I
you?
mean, they're valuable because without clients, we can't keep going, right? And so we need and it's so much easier to get in front of people that have been, for me, they're pre-qualified. My clients are very loyal to me. They're very protective of me, and they are not going to bring me people that they know are going to be difficult. They're going to bring me people that they know are going to appreciate the way I do things and are going to work well with me. So for me, it's that pre-qualifiedness of the referral that's been awesome.
110% for sure. I want to get some stuff for the folks in the replay. I want to get some stuff that's happening in the chat. Dawn shares that she has not had success converting referrals. I'm going to help you with that today. Lois says referrals show that others are confident in what you do and want to share your info. Right? They're confident in what you do and they want to share your info. Annie says the pre-vetting goes both ways. That you know that they are a legit lead and they know that you're a trusted provider. Right? They go both ways. Who here feels like your best client in the history of ever would do a better job selling your work than you? Am I right? Like totally. And I also think my best friend could do a better job selling my work than I am, because that person can ask the real questions, all of the reasons. We know this intellectually. So we go out there and network our asses off and we share what a good referral would be. We can talk about this a lot here at We Meet Wednesdays. And then we leave it up to that person again to, think of us for the rest of time. And that doesn't work. So I have been in business for so long. I'm going to sound like an old lady. I've been in business so long that we didn't have social media once upon a time. Y'all remember those days? They were beautiful. Can we go back? And so the first way that I got business was to send a bunch of nosy emails and to everybody I know individually, not in a big email tool, like individual personalized emails saying, hi, how you doing? How's the kids? Here's what I'm up to. Might you be willing to help me spread the word? Who has sent one of those emails lately? Personalized emails. Yes, Kate. What was the experience? How'd it go?
It's in progress right now. So I don't necessarily have a lot to report other than I got 2 replies asking for more information. So
Love it.
that's
awesome.
Yeah. So.
That is awesome. CT is throwing down I received one of those messages from Kate and they signed up. Right? Not for nothing. Have you said what? And my favorite, I call these ask letters, by the way. I'm going to try to make sure that I say ask. If it sounds like I didn't add the K, I am adding the K. Okay? Every time. I'm not cussing on that word right now. Okay. So my ask letters often say, maybe this is for you, and would you help me spread the word? Because I think you do too. Who wants to work with Kevin Bacon? Right? We want to get to that 6 degrees of separation until Kevin Bacon comes and knocks on the door, or Kira Sedgwick. We'll take her. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we're making those asks. And what I have learned is that this is a great tool. Now, this doesn't fill our entire business. We still do the social media marketing and the email marketing and all the stuff that we can now do, but not for nothing. For all the reasons you said at the top, this tool, this process, this very repeatable process is the campaign that we use every time we release something new and exciting. Now, we think of referral asks as a campaign. Have you thought of referral asks as a campaign before? Right? No, it's usually like, oh, I really like that one person. I might follow up with that person. So in our $10 program that you're all going to buy, I'm going to teach you a whole lot about it today. It's on my iPad here. And this is a very simple program. Basically, what I'm going to teach you are the rules of an unslimy referral ask. Right? Like, how do we make sure it's not gross? So I'm going to talk about a few of those things. Then we're going to talk about who the hell are we sending this to and how often, and how we like to categorize all of the people that we've networked with, all of our past clients, all of the people we have Thanksgiving with, right? Every human that knows we exist, these things. Now, I'm going to pause. Well, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about how often I reach out to all these different categories of people. And we're going to talk about how you can just make this your own thing and turn this into a campaign to grow your next program or launch, or just let everybody know what you're up to. Does this sound appealing to any of you? Why? I'm curious. Karen, you're giving me a head nod. Why is this appealing? Why does this sound, tell me.
Well, because it helps us to get the word out, get referrals, get pre-qualified folks that are more likely to say yes to us quicker.
Totally. Because I don't know about you, Karen. I don't know about anybody here, but do you guys remember, again, for the old people in the room, the people who've been in business since, the aughts, all of us, right? Mm-hmm. Who remembers when you would post something on social media and every person that followed you could see it? Anybody remember those days? Oh my word. And you would post it. Jenny's like, shh, don't age us. Jenny, I know you remember this, right? Like, oh, and he's like, I remember those glory days where you would post something on a social media and you knew that every single person, all 38 of them that are following you, were going to see it, right? Who remembers when you went to Twitter, when it was called Twitter, and had a conversation with somebody and made friends? Annie and I met on Twitter, y'all. On Twitter. One of my greatest friends in the whole history of the world met on Twitter. First and last person I've ever that's been the case, right? That is not the situation we live in anymore. And I think what's really powerful about this process is that, one, you can do it and it's free. Time consuming? Yes, but free. But two, oh, it's so delicious to get one of these emails. Right? It's so delicious to get one of these emails because it's personalized. So one of the first rules I'm going to share with you, I'm not sharing them all because, again, you got to give me $10. But one of the first rules I'm going to share with you is you have got to explain what it is you do. I want everybody to think about the person that they had a coffee chat with 3 weeks ago. Everybody think of somebody? Who'd you meet with 3 weeks ago? Could you, off the cuff right now, refer that person to me? Or would you need to check your notes? Or would you struggle to figure out how to explain? You could send me their link, but could you actually sell me on this thing? Allison, you don't have to type in the chat. You can unmute and talk to me. Oh, you muted twice. You double clicked. One moment, please. Still checking. There you go.
I wanted to draw more attention to myself. I would have to check my notes, not because they weren't awesome, but because genuinely I've had so many conversations that I'm like, okay, wait, go back and remind myself. So it's not that I didn't really fall in love with what they were sharing with me. I just have to remember what the heck, who was who. There's been so many.
Totally. And that's such an important point to make. I think a lot of us think that we already landed this, right? Like we already introduced ourselves. We introduced ourselves very well. It was a great connection, all of those things. And then we forget that Allison's busy doing stuff. And I think Allison loves me, but Allison hasn't gotten one of these emails from me yet. So she wouldn't be able to know what I want her to promote, right? Like how is she supposed to know what is the next thing I'm really excited about? So, for example, JC and I had a great conversation, and I know it's confidential. We're not allowed to talk about, but this is what happened to me. So I'm just going to share what happened to me. But JC shared with me, I love you. I think you're great. Love your energy. You're hysterical. I have no idea who you do this for. Whew. Okay, need to send JC an ask letter. So one of the rules of this, the ways to be successful, is to make sure that you've articulated what it is you do in a way that people can freaking remember it. And a great way to do that is to send them an email so they don't have to write it down. JC, you wanted to share something there.
Yeah, because I've been sitting here thinking it's not only sometimes being unsure, in this case between you and I, what you did or what you do rather, but sometimes, as Allison said, we meet so many. I had a call this morning and I'm like, I'm sorry, can you remind me? And I had read the little notes even, and it's like, oh, I don't know where I met her because she's not from We Meet Wednesdays. And so I'm like, where did I meet her? And we had a great conversation, and we ended up, we're collaborating on some things and things like that. But what I'm thinking is when we then email them, they come back top of mind. It gives us this chance, right? So that we can see it. For me, I'm so visual that if I read it, that helps me anyway. So that's what I was thinking.
Totally. And then we can bookmark it and go back to it, refer to it, right? It's actually written down. So I think a lot of our networking is aloud. We do it out loud, right? And we're relying on them to have notebooks. Who here has bajillions of notebooks? I have bought so many notebooks from Erin Condren that I should have bought stock. Right? And Sam's like, it's easy to do it aloud. Oh, Annie is saying, I don't even got notebooks. I got Post-its. Who's got Post-its of genius? Oh, Susan's like, yeah, that would be me, right? All over the place. And it's very easy to lose those things. So that's one. The other thing, to your point, JC, and I think Allison, you said this too, is we need to remind them and let them know what we're doing. So we have to articulate what that is. The second thing is we have to articulate who we're looking for. So their brain goes, oh, wait, that's one of Jennie's people. Oh, it sounds like you have impatient ambition. Nobody is walking around the world going, I just wish I could do something with my impatient ambition. If they do, please call me immediately. I need to know that person, but I don't think anybody is. So I have to describe it a little bit more than just my flashy language. I have to make sure I've crafted what I call the anyone who's, right? And ladies, my friends, it's not anyone who is of a certain age, right? It's not women over 40, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about the demographics, right? Anyone who's have to be memorable. They have to be sticky. Keep it sticky, right? It's got to make sense. So like anyone who has realized that, anyone who's on the brink of, anyone who up until now has been right? Dawn, you said one of the things you said is, I haven't had the greatest luck. If somebody says, hey, Dawn does yoga, okay, so do a lot of friggin' people. If your referral is like, yeah, oh, I have a friend named Dawn. She does yoga. It's awesome. Have I really made a referral? But if Dawn had fed me with some anyone who's like, I do yoga for anyone who. Everybody picking up what I'm putting down? And so we have to paint a picture. And I like to give them a bullet of like 3 to 5 in that email. Because there's more than one anyone who, right? Kate might be, and Kate, I'm going to just try and please correct me, right? Anyone who's interested and curious about what I do, or anybody who's had these experiences before, but hasn't connected with that particular healer, right? Or right? Like you could have like somebody who hasn't tried it yet, or that was horrible, by the way, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have somebody who hasn't tried it yet or hasn't found what they're looking for. Dawn, going back to yoga, like anybody who's afraid of yoga, would that be a good fit for Dawn? I don't know. Or anybody who has tried yoga and hated it, but really thinks it could be valuable if it doesn't hurt them, right? Like really figuring that out. Dawn says, why are you talking in the chat again? Dawn, you talk out loud, please.
Because sure, I brained up. So perfect timing. I'm just going to sum up what I wrote just real quick. I'm in the process of shifting again. I'm still working with the caregivers. For those of you who've heard me been talking about that for the last few months. However, I've had an opportunity to expand my scope and potentially and likely collaborate with a couple of individuals who are focused in the world of pain management. Their focus is completely different and with the movement. So really, anybody who is afraid to move because they're so overwhelmed with pain that they fear they can't move. Anybody who is ready to take control of their pain management and try something different. So that's I'm shifting into that. And by extension, anybody who suffers from really bad PMS or cramps. Let's chat.
Okay, it's fascinating. So now when I'm out with my girlfriends hearing us all whine about perimenopause, because we do, I might be like, hold on, Dawn sent me an email, so I don't have to remember it. I don't have to look through a notebook. I can search my email real quick. She can help with that. And here's the next step. Here's what she'd like us to do. So this is the other thing. Is we go to all these coffee dates, we have these great conversations, and then we say, okay, so if you know anyone who is this, that, and the other thing, send them my way. How many of you have said that? Come on, be real. Send them my way. What the hell does that mean? You have just, Allison is busy, y'all. You just gave her a part-time job of figuring out how to send them your way. What specifically do you want us to do? right? Now, how can we make this easy on Allison? I don't know why I'm doing this. Annie said, I used to make this mistake until Jennie snapped me out of it. Yes, Annie used to be like, yes, I'm great, I'm amazing. If you haven't met Annie, she's definitely memorable. I say that with all the love in the world. She's more memorable than I am, and that's saying something, right? And she would say, just send them my way. Okay, so I have to figure that out. Why are we making it hard for people to do us a favor? I'm going to say that again. Why are we making it hard for people to do us a favor? If you asked a friend to go pick up your kid from school, would you go out of your way to give them, I don't know, directions and say where the freaking school is? Right? Would you tell him what he's wearing and where to drive up and the tips to get around that crazy line? Would you like try to make it a little easier? I mean, I don't have kids. Sam liked that example, right? No, my kid's at a school. It's an elementary school in LA. Just go pick them up, right? I think he wore shoes today, right? Allison says, I have to explain this to my mother-in-law, right? Each time, probably, right? This is a thing. This is a thing. When we are asking for referrals, we are asking for a favor. Is everybody hearing that? We're asking for a favor. Now, you might gussy up that favor as an affiliate program where you're going to pay them back. And that formalizes it. But until we do that, we usually don't think through all of these things. So when we're going to pay them for giving us a referral, we come up with a fancy piece of software and we have cool ways for links and what they're supposed to do. But if we're asking them to do it for free, we give them nothing? What the hell, yo? We got to fix that. Everybody picking up what I'm putting down? I love it. Annie says, ask them to message me on LinkedIn. Here's the direct link. Now, please forward them this novella. That's what I said now. I learned my lesson. Crystal clear. What the best way to introduce me to your work is to have them message me on LinkedIn. Here's my link. And here's a PDF you could forward them. It's a really great way to have an introduction. Right? Now, is that the right way? That's the Annie way. You pick what the right way is for you. I don't think the right way is send them to my website. Do you agree? It might be send them to the super secret link on my website that said, hey, a friend of mine sent you my way. So I'm extra excited to see you. A little back door, right? Side window, whatever. That might be nice. But think through that. How do you want them to introduce you? I will say, here's some copy and paste email language that you could put into an email introduction because that's the best way. And then we'll take it from there. Right? And he says a little speakeasy action. JC says, I sent the podcast application link at this point. There you go. Like, I am looking for podcast guests. Here's the link. Here's anyone who's, right? And again, might that be you? Does this sound fun? Tedious, but fun? No? Dawn, what is so scary about this? What do you not like about it?
Yeah, so full transparency. I'm kind of in this I don't want to talk to anybody mode right now, and I know that that's not going to mean my business is going to succeed, which is partially why I'm where I'm at. So that's the reason why, Jennie. I mean, what you're saying makes absolute sense, and again, this is the second time I'm hearing it, and it is actually being absorbing better with more creativity this go around for all the reasons we've talked about. But I think in all seriousness, though, I think the strategies you're offering for me is a good way for me to bridge that gap that I've been having with respect to focusing in more specifically about what I do. And so I know that that'll be good. And as Frankie said yesterday, you got to do it in little increments. So I'm mastering on that too.
Totally. Like, you could turn this into, to use some Coach Jennie Meredith language, you could use it as a consistent activity, right? So we have the consistent activities plan where you're going to say every week I'm going to send at least 3 asks, right? You could also do it as a campaign. A campaign is like, I have an upcoming no matter what, right? I'm promoting no matter what, the way I always promote no matter what, which is my live virtual event happening on April 5th that everybody should be at. I'm just saying. So I promote it everywhere I go. And I follow up with people who have been before, personally inviting them. Because they came to a no matter what before. This is the 13th no matter what. They get a personal invitation every single time until they tell me to leave them alone. And some of them do. And that's okay. right? And this is where we get into categorizing the kind of people that are in your referral bank. Okay. So now there's lots of ways to categorize it. And of course, we do it with humor. One is the super fan of the century, right? Who has a super fan of the century? Anybody? Oh, yes. Love them. They get an ask letter every time. Do you think I ever sent an ask letter without including Annie B. Ruggles? No. She's like, I mean, she's in the chat, like hyping me up, ready to like, and we do the other way around. Like, she is not allowed to send an ask letter without including me. P.S. By the way, in the Ask for Referrals $10 program that you're all going to buy, I literally have an ask in there for you to share it and invite you to send me your ask in case I know somebody. Just saying. Okay. And yes, I agree. No matter what is the best event ever. Moving on. So super fans of the century, they should hear from you every time you have an ask because they're never going to get annoyed with it. They actually want to help. These are your best friends, your best clients. Who here would like to help people in this room? I want to help. Please make it easy for me to help, right? We know who these people are. These are our biggest cheerleaders. Then you have like that fan from yesterday, the woman that you worked with maybe a couple of years ago that was a fan, but isn't really on social media and isn't seeing all of your stuff all the time because, you know, it's not 2006 anymore, Jenny. And so we have to like remind them. But if we say every single time I have a campaign, they're going to be tired of us. So maybe a couple times a year, I might include that person. Then there's the one and done, the people that you know, like unsubscribe from your list as soon as they finish taking your program. I'm never emailing that person. They're not on this list, right? Then you got your misfit biz cards. You know the misfit biz cards. It's a thing. Yeah, every conference you've ever gone to where they stuck a business card in your face, they're getting an ask letter at least once, right? All the people that we're meeting here, you know, that don't quite know what we're doing, they're going to get an ask letter on occasion, right? I love it. Annie is dropping sales stat nerdery. Sales stat nerd time. Over 85% of people said that they would be glad to make an introduction or refer when the brand experience was positive, but fewer than 30% do it because they aren't actually asked or asked properly. This method solves that perfectly. Thank you, Annie, for that. That is all Annie over there dropping that. But yes, most people, including me, I think everybody here would be very happy to make a connection if we could. We'd even go out of our way to do it if you made it easy. Do you agree with me? Like we would go out of our way. Some people here have made referrals to each other because we've heard it repetitively enough that we can do it. But if you made it easier, do you think you'd be able to do it even more? Especially if it's copy and pastable, right? That's why we're emphasizing the email. Another very underutilized. And so, Cindy, I'm looking at you because, you know, you're one of my peeps. Your mentors, your coaches, your mastermind mates, the people who, you know, you've invested in, have you reached out to them and said, hey, want to make sure you know what I'm up to and what I'm doing next, and maybe you could throw me a bone? As a coach, I beg my clients, beg them to send me their ask letters. In fact, I begged some of them, Annie, I begged some of them so they could put some of their ask letters into the repository that you're going to have access to of all these examples. So as you have these, I would like to add them as examples. Oh, called out. I would like to add these examples because this is such an easy thing to do that is completely free. It's better than a Facebook ad, in my opinion. And yet it takes time, right? Like Dawn says, it takes a little bit of time. I'm going to pause because I've been yammering at you for a long time. Who's got questions or comments or cocktail recipes? What you got? Anybody?
I'll just tell you that one of my clients is actually they sell premium barware, so I have lots of cocktail recipes. I can just say it. I mean, they're theirs, but I have lots. Just
send them my way. Send them my way, please, please, please.
Sometimes say, let's have a cocktail. It's still morning my time, but it's okay.
I know it's 10:30 in the morning. That's why we have mimosas. Go ahead. I heard somebody else. Where was the other voice I heard?
I was going to say happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Yes, I am drinking water. I'm drinking water. I
will just pipe in and say that, Jenny, this comes at the perfect time because I literally have on my to-do list for, I want to get 5 OBM clients by the end of the first quarter. And I have 3 and I want 5, and I have on my list of things to do to reach out for referrals, and I keep changing the date on that to do and pushing it out. So I feel like this is like, okay, this is it. I'm going to spend the $10. I'm going to get the email because I'm a template girl. Like, why
Yes.
reinvent the wheel? And then I'm going to like, I mean, and it is time consuming, but it's worth the time because all of my current clients came through referrals. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
know it's worth it. So I'm very excited. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Like, you're
Thank
killing
you
me
for
by not
saying
sending
that.
the link. Just put out the freaking link. But I mean,
Well, and okay, so in this case, what I would do, what I would throw out to you is get them involved in it, right? One of the template, and I keep using the word template. It's not really a template. It's more of a sample that you can reverse engineer and make your own because templates get really real fast. You know what I'm saying? But like I have one that I put in there, which is old. It's from 2020 when I was about to do the first No Matter What event. So quick little side story. I decided in February of 2020, note the date, that I was going to have an event live and in person in LA in June of 2020. And I named it No Matter What. You can't postpone or cancel an event you literally named no matter what, even if there's a pandemic, yo. So I had to figure out what am I going to do. So in that email, I was like, okay, here's my situation. I like shared that really vulnerably because I mean, I was sending these emails in like March of 2020 and saying, but I want you to be the first one there and I would love your help in getting more people there. So in Allison's case, right, I have 3, I'm looking for 5. And I don't want to rely on social media algorithms. I know that the people who know and love me and know and love my work know the person I need to find. Can you help me find these 2 people? Do you feel the difference in that versus a social media post? And here's why this is different. There are 2 different kinds of marketing that we can do. It's kind of on a spectrum. Passive marketing and active marketing. Most of us spend 90% of our time doing passive marketing, which is asking people to know we exist. Right? It might have a sassy call to action on it, but it's just asking people to know we exist. Few of us actually do the active marketing, which is to invite people to work with us, to actively say, you, Kate, I would love for you to be part of the Make It Happen method. Right? Why haven't you signed up yet? What are your questions? What's your hesitations? Right? Why? Because Kate might say, because I don't want to, and then we're rejected. So it's much easier to stay on the passive side than the active side because we might get rejected. But I imagine if I'm relying on Zucky's algorithm to convince Kate that the Make It Happen method is for her, I'm shit out of luck. I mean, come on. You know, that's really passive. JC, did you want to share something there?
Well, what pops into my head is that when we don't, we're always going to fail if we never try.
Totally.
So you have to put yourself out there because, yeah, rejection sucks and we may get rejected. But if we don't ask,
yeah,
they can't say yes. They can't pass it along.
Agreed. I have sent thousands of individual personalized emails over 17 and a half years to people, inviting them to one of my programs, asking them to help spread the word. Thousands. I have heard back twice, please quit sending me these emails. I have gotten a lot of crickets. Most people never respond. So are we okay with that? Not for nothing. Who's posting on social media and getting a lot of crickets there too? Right? Part of this life is crickets. Cricket, like, what's the word? Tolerance. Cricket tolerance. I'm making that a thing. Annie, write that down. Cricket tolerance. Okay, so a lot of us have that too. So we have to be okay with the fact that we might, I wrote it down before you asked, we might actually have a bunch of people that seem to ignore us. And we can turn that into a story. And if you do, call me. I'll help you get out of your own way on that one too. Okay. But instead of letting Hilda, our inner critic, screw with us on that, we have to remember how many emails you got in the time I've been talking in these last 36 minutes. Who here feels like they got at least 10 emails? 20, 30, 50, right? It's an email. It's easy to ignore, right? It's easy to miss. So our job is to remember that and not turn it into a story that, oh my gosh, Annie hasn't responded to that email or sent me a referral. She must hate me now. Right? Like, clearly that's not a story. It might be Annie got a lot of email because so did I, right? Oh my God, Sam got 1,600 emails since I started talking. There you go. Okay. Yikes. That's terrifying. Julia says, I need that too. What, are you talking about the cricket tolerance, Julia? I'm curious. Can you tell us a little bit more? Yeah, the cricket tolerance. Yeah. We have to remember that crickets doesn't mean anything, right? It just means quiet. And who here has responded to every email you got last week? Anybody? Yeah, not even close. Okay. Now, just because they haven't responded doesn't mean that they're not working for you. Just because they haven't responded doesn't mean they're not working for you. And in fact, often in an ask letter, we forget to ask them to respond. A great way to fix that is to add that personalization, right? So, Fiona, how's it going down under? How is life? How's the kids? Are you enjoying your summer? Blah, 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 right? That kind of thing. And then where you can make that personalization even better is whenever you can, make it better. You know, thanks for asking. Yeah, there you go. You know, specifically digging in. Kate, you have a question or a comment?
So yeah, so with maybe the people, not the super fans, because I can judge them, but the people who are like maybe referred somebody in the past or have been a good client, how do you judge in that category how often you ask to be like too much or not too much? Or is it just you just go with your gut and whatever? But is there, you know, in your experience, something that's too much for those kind of in-between people?
Yeah, I call them the pop-up fan in this document, right? They're the former clients of you who seem to go into hiding for months, but then suddenly reemerge, and they're kind of like in and out of your life, you know, that kind of way. It depends on how often you're sending these. Excuse me. Meredith and I are sending these out to at least a handful of people every single month. But we're not sending it to the same people every single month because that would be like spam. You know what I mean? So in that case, it's more about the quality of that email than the frequency, in my opinion. So I'll send an email to somebody. It's like, hey, remember that time when we worked together in 2011? Wasn't it swell? I have no idea what's going on with you lately, and I miss you. Right. And I totally miss you. I am very curious about whatever happened with such and such and so and so. Are you still in DC? Whatever it is. Right. So if it goes way back, I might go there and like really say, I would love to reconnect with you. Would you like to have coffee sometime? Like go there. If it's somebody from like 6 months ago and be like, hey, I just want to remind you, I loved working with you. I know we only met that one time. And it was really powerful. And I still remember it. I'm curious, what has come of you? Blah, 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 blah. Right. Like, and so you could go deep, you could go shallow, you can go where you need to, but it really is relational. This is the time suck part of it. And this is why so few people do it.
I like this kind of stuff though.
Do you? Okay, good.
To me, I would invest the time in it. I just didn't, I guess more of a framework of a way to do it, I guess is, you know, kind of what I was looking for. Because
did that help?
Yeah.
Did my answer help you? Because that's the key. It's finding your own way to do it. And like I said, we're going to have more and more ask letters that I'm just getting permission from people to add to that. It's just a Google Doc that you can go in, copy, change it. We highly, highly recommend you change the crap out of it. You could work with CT to make sure that you use Kevin or Chat GPT, as everybody else calls it, to make it even better. I call him Kevin. But then you can add that bit of personalization. Fiona's pointing out that you're already really good at this, Kate. So that's very exciting. That personalized message, it's like writing a Valentine. Right? It's like writing a Valentine. It's really nice. It takes a little effort, but I think it's just more effective. And again, from what we talked about at the tippy top, it's more effective because we want more of these clients, right? Who would like more referrals than cold traffic coming in? Like, I want cold traffic too, but I prefer referrals. I would rather, for example, throwing Cindy under the bus, I would rather you learn about the make it happen method from Cindy, or no matter what from Cindy, than from my social media post, right? And so I need to make sure I've done my due diligence there. Yeah. Other questions or comments? Because I'm just going very rapidly. JC.
So what I was thinking is, because of what I'm doing now, it actually is very relatable to me having taught dance for 20 plus years, right? So I have students that are now grown ass women.
Yay!
Right? I mean, oh my God, I feel old. Anyways, but I don't necessarily have their emails, but I'm still in communication with them on, for the most part, Facebook. And sometimes it's that pop-up like, oh, they like something, or I did, or some of them are even in my Facebook group, which is kind of dead. But anyway, so do you feel that works okay in that situation, to just pop it in a messenger and send a message?
Absolutely does. I mean, the reason I'm advocating for email is because then it's easy for them to find again. That doesn't mean it's king. That doesn't mean it's queen or whatever. It doesn't mean it's the top choice. I think that Annie does most of her referral asking in LinkedIn, because then you have that thread just between you and her. I don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, so she says, yeah, okay. I don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, so it doesn't make as much sense for her. She's using LinkedIn DMs as a way to build that relationship. Facebook DMs could work the same way if they're personalized. I got a DM a little earlier today going, hey, I don't know you, and I love what you're up to. I think what you're doing is cool. And I, being who I am, responded with, do you have any clue what I'm freaking doing? Like, do you say that to all the girls? Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And that feels gross. But if I actually know you and I get that message, I open it and I don't add sass, right? Annie says, make sure it's actually personalized, not fake personalized, right? Not fake personalized. And if you don't adore this person or dig this person or interested in this person, that's not who we're sending this to. Anybody that you were like, I hated working with that person. I've never had one of those, but it can happen. They're not getting an ask letter, right? They're going to be a horrible referral. Here's another thing I want to throw out. Allison's like, I have. Yeah, I have too. I was lying. Here's another thing. How many people in your personal life have like just love you to the end of the earth, but have no clue what you do? Right? And those people would love to help. Now, can they help? We don't know. We don't know who they know. We don't know who they're going to bump into at their next networking event. But we have to make sure. So, for example, if you live in the Orlando area and you would like some bespoke cookies made just for you. My best friend Matt Roberts is now making these amazing cookies. He just did this whole thing of cookies in the shape of Pac-Man and the ghosts and stuff. It's so cute, including the little dots. Who doesn't want those? But you have to be in Orlando and like cookies. But if you're in Orlando and like cookies, I want to tell you about Matt. He will make you cookies. It's so cool, right? I don't think I did a great job of that. Matt could probably say, here's a better way to introduce me and my cookies. That sounded weird as it was coming out of my mouth, but I'm going with it. Happy Valentine's Day. So I like when Matt is out there trying to figure out how do I refer business to Jennie and Meredith, we have to keep him up to speed on what that looks like this week. Because that's the other thing. If you referred me business back when I was doing a lot of private coaching and you keep sending me private coaching clients and I have to be like, hi, nice to meet you. We're not doing that anymore. That's awkward. Right? That's awkward. So how do we also make sure we're keeping our best friends and our community up to speed on what we're doing too? All right. So I have about 5 minutes left. Who here has more specific questions? How can we make this yours? Anybody? Cindy, I see you reaching for the mute button. I feel it. Come on, Cindy. Hit me.
All right. For me, the kinds of, a lot of people can think of people to refer to me because I'm a grief coach.
Yes.
But they don't know how to do it because it's an awkward conversation. And it's kind of interesting because I'm not sure how to tell them sometimes either. I mean, to me, it's a sensitive conversation where I would not recommend people be pushing. Like, that's not something a lot of people in grief really need at times. It really is a point of when someone asks or says they're having trouble. So I do think if you know people, like, I think maybe what you said, people who
anyone who's,
anyone who says, I mean, I think what I need to do from what we're talking about is say when people, like if you have a friend who's just lost somebody and they say things like this.
Well, and that to me, Cindy, I think you're right. People are attuned to the anyone who's and they say things like this. But then you need to have copy and pastable content. So I don't have to figure out how on earth to make that introduction. If Cindy had copy and pastable content that was like, I know, and literally said, I know that when your friends are hurting because they're going through a grief experience, you have no idea what to do and you want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Here is some copy and paste language you can use to introduce them to me in case I can be of service. And if that was written in a way that you, Cindy, the expert, knew made a lot of sense, it would be so easy to copy and paste it and, invite them to tweak it however they need to.
Yeah.
But here's the copy and paste. So like, for example, this is not an example for Cindy's. Okay. This is cheesy because it's an example from here where I say, hey, friend, family member, my coach sent out an amazing offer this week and I want to tell you about it. She's giving away a free session. It's a very cool opportunity. Check it out. Right. In Cindy's case, it might be more like, I love you and I wish I knew what to do to help. The one thing I do know to help is that Cindy Olney is a treasure. And if you are looking for some help from people who don't already know and love you, who won't be at the funeral, right? But from somebody who's an expert at this and can handle this beautifully, you got to reach out to Cindy. I just want to connect you to. And you guys take it from there. I pulled that out of my tush. I have no idea if I'm close. But like, if I got an email like that in that moment, right? Dawn says, I would love a referral email, right? You got to tell them how to introduce you and how not to introduce you, like Annie says, right? Like that would feel really yummy to me. But Cindy, I would again lean on your expertise of what the right language would be.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I think that's important. And especially when to refer them to, because a lot of times people want to refer them right when something really serious has happened.
Yeah.
And that's not
might not
really,
be the moment.
It's a good 3 or 4 months out before somebody's really ready to start. Well, I mean, it kind of depends, but
it does. So that's something to manage for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We have a question from the chat. Do you just get referrals from people who have worked with you before and they refer you? No, I certainly reach out to anybody who's worked with us before and loved it. Right. Which is everybody, obviously. But I also reach out to people that I've just clicked with. Right. Like there are a lot of people in this room I have clicked with who have not worked with me yet. I don't know why, but soon. But they haven't worked with me yet. And I still want to get referrals from them. I also reach out to people who will never work with me because they're my best friend or my sibling or people outside, people in my personal life, people who are not entrepreneurs. This is really key. People who are not entrepreneurs they think what we do is weird. Right. And if you're a spiritual teacher, you got that extra level of weird. You got to cut through and explain your woo woo. Right. You got to make it clear. And these people love you and they want to help, but they don't get it. And they're going to flub it up. If they're like, yeah, so Kate does this thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really cool and it feels good. You should call her. You'd be like, what the hell? Is she a masseuse? Your brain goes to whatever. We have to make that easy for them for sure. I know that I'm low on time. Any other questions?
I'm just going to pop in and say I've clicked on the link 3 different times and the page starts to load and goes all white. Somebody else can tell me if you're having the same problems.
Dude.
But
I did not have that problem at all.
All right, Allison, will you drop me a DM?
And I clicked.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Dawn. You got cut off.
I was going to say I used a link in a chat, so I don't know if that may be the difference, Allison, for you.
No, yeah, I tried the link in the chat, 2 different links in the chat, and the link on the screen. I'll try it a different browser, but that's so weird because it literally starts to load and then goes white. I'll figure it out.
Okay, if you get stuck, shoot me a DM because I would love for you to sign up for that too. I mean, here's the thing: this is our first low ticket $10 drop. And we're really excited about it because we're going to be doing more of these. Spoiler alert, we're doing another one next month that we're really excited about too. But this one, I hear a lot of us complaining and frustrated with how algorithms are working against us and how hard it is to get the word out about that. And we're working on our visibility. We're doing all of these things, but we're leaving the low hanging fruit of that personal connection. Hopefully, I've convinced you that it's worth the time. And so we very specifically, very intentionally, we don't have any order bumps or any tripwires or anything fancy with this. It's $10. There's also no video. There's no audio. It is an 8-page workbook and access to a Google Doc where we're going to be adding a bunch of ask letters for you to use because we want you to actually do the thing. Right. And again, I invite you inside of the program to send us an email. Yay. Oh, thank you so much. To send us an email and let us know your ask letters so that we can keep our eyes peeled. And then once you buy one of our programs, you are now part of Jennie and Meredith's digital campfire. We would love to have you there too. All right. If you have any questions, oh, yay. I'm so excited making sales. If you have any questions for me, you know where to find me. Drop a link over there. Let me check the schedule to see what we're doing next. We're heading over to Roundtable, baby. We're doing Roundtable with a twist, which I am always very excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is the most sales while I'm live at We Meet Wednesday ever because you're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you for that. I'm so excited. All right. So there you have it. The very last thing I'll say is I want to make sure that you didn't just buy a piece of info crack. Okay. It's very easy to buy another piece of info crack, which is something you can learn how to do. And then I learned how to do something and now I have a false sense of accomplishment because I learned something today. Right. We want to make sure that we don't just use this as info crack, but you actually just bought a resource that gets you clients. This resource gets me clients every time I send out these campaigns. I don't get them from everybody, but if I reach out to enough people, we make money, we grow our influence. And I will only know if you did that if you sent me a message. CT, can we do a co-working session to implement? Hell yes, we can. I'd love to. Yes, if you bought this thing, we can do a co-working session to implement. I will post about it over in the digital campfire for sure. Annie's screaming, this guide makes money. It does. Makes money. So love it. Yay! Okay, beautiful people. Go and get ready. Go take a little stretch break. We got 6 minutes and I'll see you at Roundtable. Thank you so much for being amazing. Bye now.